Hey guys, Navinat on No Limit Hold. I'm pretty excited right now. I finally got some action at slightly higher stakes. We're playing $20. A $20 heads up sit and go. Get the limp, and usually I like to attack the first limp, but my hand is just so nice to see a flop with. Second pair with the backdoor draw or two. He checks back. I'm planning on betting most turns kind of as a bluff when I see my opponent checks back the flop, but I think my hand has just enough showdown value. Now, he could be betting a queen, of course, but he also could be betting a flush draw or some air, so we will call, and now, unfortunately, we're going to have to check and fold, but if he has air and checks it back, he did have the draw, but he got there. So we didn't put any money in badly, so that's good. A fat lot of good it does me now. Yeah, so he did. We also know that he limped King 10 suited, so we don't want to necessarily start trying to go after his limps. I think we're just going to take a shot at this pot here. And so my initial read is that my opponent might be a little bit passive pre-flop, and yeah, for sure. I think this hand would just assume that he folds his hand. We got a blocker to the bigger parts of his range that might limp raise, and if he limp and call, if he does a limp call, that's not going to be the end of the world. He's got a fold button. I think we can open queen 2 offsuit. Yeah, so it seems like he's playing pretty straightforward. Kind of for the same reasons as before, but you know, after this, if he folds again, I really am going to probably have to lay off the gas. And there's more than one way to think of it, of course. We could say that when should we stop being aggressive? Well, when it stops working. But the other way is if you can beat your opponent to the adjustment, if you can adjust just right before he adjusts, that's the nuts, right? And now we're just going to try to get our 4 to showdown. And I think we're going to be best most of the time. Every once in a while he will have a jack. I think probably the jack's going to bet the river. And if he has a 10, he could probably check and win also. I think that would make sense. But other than a badly played jack or a 10 that he just rivered, we probably just win by checking to showdown. So what is he doing wrong? We got to figure that out. I think he's just being very face up. I feel a donk. Oh, I just had one of those feelings that he was gonna like donk that into me. I'm gonna go a little bit bigger because our hand is a little bit bigger, and I think he is just gonna call 60 chip bet as often as he's gonna call a 40. And if he sees some showdowns happen like that, then I'll have to balance accordingly. I'm a big fan of balance accordingly, and I'm gonna try not to run into it now that we've raised 2 or 3 of his limps in a row. I think 2 at least. So we're just going to try to get this pair of 7s to showdown. I'm going to tank and pretend like I'm thinking about betting. Yeah, and I think we just got a really nasty run out, and we haven't really caught him in there. Well, he did bluff. He did bet the, no, it just went check on that last one. Yeah, we're going to fold. Ace 5 offsuit's a pretty clear open. Got the gut shot, but he's got a range advantage, and I've also got the ace high showdown value. So remember, of the hands he folds, it's only the ones that he that would beat me that really count. And so, like, I've got the ace high, which makes me a little bit less thrilled about bluffing. Try to get this to showdown and hold, or win rather. So yeah, he's not bluffing off or enough. He's just going to let us get our showdown value to showdown, and let us make sure he doesn't have his easy time getting his showdown value to showdown. Then it's going to be not good for him. Yeah, and I think that just taking that last that last time off of attacking his limp would make him less likely to do some kind of a trapping limp. You know, I mean, it looks like he's just going to limp his range, which we can also beat up. Because we're not going to limp our buttons, he is going to limp his buttons, so that means that the pots that we play are going to be a lot bigger when I'm in position and a lot smaller when he is in position. Which is going to be the case unless I have a hand that wants to raise. Alright, he shouldn't have many kings. We can get some value from 8s. Baby pairs will call, ace highs will call. Let's go for a small bet here. We don't mind folding out his equity either. If he's got a couple of overcards some of the time, or he's gonna, I don't know, decide to bluff occasionally. It was thin. It was thin. Okay, so he's got a button limping range and a button folding range. So, the hands that he limps, and so far we don't see a button raising range. So maybe the hands that he open limps from the button is going to be something like 80% of all hands or 70% of all hands, something like that. Like 80% he's running bad or 70% he's running good. Nah, I mean, that was mostly a joke. Alright, we've got the gut shot, but let's check first and see if he checks back. We'll have a little bit better bet here. How? Yeah, maybe when he bet the flop he should have just folded because he's been playing so straightforward, but it's just so hard to fold a gut shot heads up on the flop. Or maybe check raising, but I don't know. Like, we haven't really seen him, we haven't seen his aggressive tendencies yet, so it could very well be the case that he's going to do a lot of betting on flops and then shutting down and folding on turns. And even if he just, I'm folding on rivers rather, and even if he just shuts down, then we get to see 2 cards, so it's kind of, it's almost like having a open-ended straight draw if he's going to check back turns against our gut shots. Yeah, let's stab. We've got no kind of showdown value, no kind of equity. Anything that he folds is fantastic. Yeah, I guess we could have some backdoor stuff, but that probably benefits from keeping our range uncapped. These guys take a long time to beat, by the way, when they're a little bit on the passive nitty side. They're still great people to play against, especially at this level. Again, I think we just as soon take this down. Maybe he's seen us showdown. Like, this is a really cool benefit of understanding showdown value if your opponent does not, is if he has seen us take hands like bottom pair to showdown, or even second pair sometimes to showdown, and ace highs to showdown, then he may think, wow, you know, if he's not betting those hands, then when he bets, I better fold more because he's, you know, they don't understand polarization, so they might think that I have more of a linear range than I do, and see that once they know that I'm, let's see what I want to do here. Now let's check it one time. I think if he checks the turn, or checks the flop, he's going to fold the turn a lot. Huh. He'll have one heart. He'll have hands like a 7. Yeah, I think there's just a lot of value targets that I can get called by. Most of them are going to fold on the river, so I'm half tempted to check. Except he just plays so. Yeah, he's not going to make a bunch of betting mistakes. Usually, what's going to happen is I'm going to bet, he's going to fold, but I'm just going to hope I caught him in there with something that's going to get sticky. I mean, I don't think he's going to bluff anyway because he hasn't been bluffing, so we may as well try. Yeah, let's try to get this to showdown. he's just gonna let us win. Well, I don't dislike his play there, actually. I mean, post flop, yeah, I think he has the right kind of hand to just try to get the showdown. That was just bad luck. He just got notched. And we'll lead with top pair on a white board because it's thick. We've got a thick value bet. You could call us with draws. You could call us with worse top pairs. You could call us with second pair and third pair. And against this player, where we can just definitely be confident about folding when he bets, I think there's more value in just checking it back than betting and running into a hand that will call me, because he's never going to fold better, I don't think. We lose here some of the time to an 8 or a 7, but he's not going to fold those anyway, right? He definitely should not have let me get that to showdown. He should have led the turn as a minimum. Yeah, let's go for the ISO. I think he's going to fold a lot because we haven't been ISOing as much, but I mean, our hand is just so good. And let's just try to check it to showdown. I repped that 4 pretty good, but I don't think he's going to fold an 8 or a 5, and I think he would have bet a 10 by now. He might bet a 5. He might fold a 5. You know, let's just hope he checks back. I mean, come on. Yeah. He's making it very easy on us. This is thick. You can call with a lot of worse hands. I think against this player, like usually we just bet here, right? And then we're going to barrel some. But I don't really want to barrel any. I think I just want to try to hit my hand or get my king queen high to showdown and have to win against most things that he has, you know, other than like ace high and like baby pairs. Yeah, other than that, we could just hit the queen on the turn. Alright, he has 13 bigs, so raise folding would be awful, but I think there's so much value in going post-flop with this guy that I'm willing to take that chance. And maybe since he's not raised at all the entire game, I can fold ace-7 to a jam. Boy, that would be gross. That would be so gross. It's like 12 bigs. That would be sole ownership, though, if I could do it correctly. If I knew he was only going to jam like better aces and pairs that were bigger than my kicker, then we could fold. And I think that's probably the case. Yeah, actually, I think I could have raised folded to ace-7 against 12 bigs. But if you don't do that as a general rule, but when you can find spots to do that, that is complete ownership. I don't know how thick this bluff is, because there's not like a lot of like there's only ace highs that are not pairs that might fold better, but cleaning out his equity is not worthless, and it's going to put me kind of a weird spot if yeah, I mean really, like, it's probably better than check folding it, right? Now probably want to develop a limping range against this player, so maybe we'll limp like pocket aces. Ooh, he shoved. Maybe we'll limp pocket aces and our like worst suited hands, and then maybe limp like pocket kings and ace king suited. Okay, so that's the strategy. We're gonna limp aces, kings. We're gonna limp ace king suited, but not offsuit. And we're going to limp in with the shittiest other hands in our range, and we're going to lose everything else. Oh, we're going to flip. And we just have to get the hold on the turn and river. Ding, ding, ding. Until next time, guys. Later.